Right there, welcome back to the channel. Some of you watched the preview, some of you didn't watch the preview. Those who watched the preview, nice one. Hopefully you guys understood that it was probably going to go very similar to how it went today. And I would actually say that up until the penalty miss or save, Southampton were very much in control of the game. And even though I don't think United weren't getting on the ball, weren't doing a lot, we looked quite dangerous off the back foot a little bit. Like we were happy to let them have the ball. Wasn't a negative for us to allow Southampton to have the ball. But shout out to United for not ruining our weekend for once. It's been a minute and it was staring at 3 losses on the bounce. I don't think it's too dramatic to say, like, I really do think Ten Hag needed to win that one. And I think winning it in the manner that he won it is absolutely fantastic for us as well. So there's quite a few points that I think are worth talking about. I've gone with De Ligt on the title because I thought he's really settled in and really hit the ground running nicely for Manchester United, and he's having really, really strong games. Yes, he scores, and the scoring is what's going to probably end up getting the headlines, but 10 clearances, real solid game in terms of passing. Made me laugh when Graham Souness called him lightweight, because I think he's just assuming he's this 17-year-old kid that's just broke onto the scene. That's not what he is. He's an absolute unit. And he plays like an absolute unit as well. He's had a clearance off the line. He's blocked a load. De Ligt was like a brick wall, I thought, for United today in this game. Now, all right, Southampton didn't really manage to get many clear goal-scoring opportunities. But I think De Ligt had a hand in that. Now, it looks bad for them. They've gone 4 games without scoring a goal. It's rough for them, I think. It's going to be rough for them. But you can tell that they're coached, and you can tell that they know what they're trying to achieve. Defending wasn't good from their point of view, though, and that's why United have come away with 3 goals. Now, Marcus Rashford's performance, it's funny because before he had a run just before he ends up getting on the score sheet. Before our opener, it might have been, actually. And I'm just sitting there thinking, he's having a quiet game today again, Marcus. But he comes away from today with 3 shots on target, much needed goal, which hopefully signals a bit of a resurrection for his confidence. But it wasn't just about him. Again, like De Ligt and with Marcus, it's not just about him scoring. His movement was better. His willingness to drive at defenders was better. Marcus is at his best when he's a game changer for us. And he clearly is a player that requires confidence. And he played like a confident player today. That'll do him no harm whatsoever. I thought Bruno was very good. Did he look a bit deeper today, or was that just because of the shape Southampton put up? But he looked like he was getting on the ball in sort of different areas. He was all over the place with Jules. He was spraying passes around. He seems to cover all the ground. Or maybe it was because he was playing alongside Eriksen. But yeah, Bruno, another solid showing from him today. Him and Kobe linked up nice at times. It was good to see. Delort had a bit of a mixed day. He'd give the penalty away. I mean, I'm not sure it was inside the box. Obviously, they've had a look at it, but it didn't feel like it was inside the box. His attacking play was pretty good. Both sides. Obviously, switched over to the right-hand side. Xerxes had more big chances missed. And I think the hardest thing in football to do is to get into the areas to score goals. And he's getting into the areas to score goals. We have to allow him a bit of time to settle in, but he also has to sort of start putting them away a little bit. We're getting into decent areas for him. He's getting on the ball in decent areas, but his shot selection or the final ball coming from him, not quite up to standard. He'll probably find himself on the bench as soon as Howson gets fit, and I mean properly match fit. And he'll only have himself to blame if that's the case, because he's not finishing the chances that others are creating for him, and some of them are literally handed to him on a plate, I think. Delort looked good again. Calm, composed. He was a real threat. In fact, I thought that entire right-hand side, Mazraoui and Delort, they link up nice, and there's a couple of times maybe you want Diallo to release the ball a little bit quicker, because Mazraoui's making some excellent runs. That entire right-hand side was absolutely on song today, and it was causing them all sorts of dramas. It's a shame that more couldn't have come from that, because I think we were absolutely worth more coming from that. It was nice to see Ugarte in a United shirt. It feels like it's been a long time coming. It feels like it's kind of been brewing for such a long time, but he kept it simple, didn't he? 13 out of 13 passes, 17 touches in 17 minutes, which you can't really ask for more than that. Won a couple of duels as well, which is what we're going to see. Was fouled, got a tackle in. Solid little cameo from him. I thought he would have featured a bit more, but I guess easing him in. Be interesting to see what United go with on Tuesday, because yes, it's Barnsley and yes, it's the League Cup, but you also have to go through. You do have to go through. So it'd be interesting to see what Ten Hag decides to go with, and it'd be interesting to see if Ten Hag's able to relax a little bit on that as well, because Southampton have come into the Premier League and completed like City and Arsenal level amount of passes, and yes, it's held massively within their defence, but they're still doing it, and they're still doing it to a level that other teams aren't doing. I've seen some people trying to dismiss, Newcastle had 10 men for an hour. So what? At St James's Park, Newcastle, you have 78% possession as a newly promoted team. That's insane still. I don't care if they've got 10 players. Like, that Newcastle team is a team going for the Champions League, and you get bopped so badly at home, 10 men or not. That's absolutely ridiculous. You had half an hour, it was 11v11, and it made no difference, really. So I think when you look at what this Southampton team did, United have just gone, and outside of that first 30 minutes, totally dominated them with the ball. Now, the possessions ended up being like 55-45, something like that, in favour of United. We have actually had a better game than them with the ball. We've created chances. We've kept a clean sheet. There were some nice patterns. We looked good in transition. We blocked nice. We pressed nice. For all the people that are about to comment, well, they're probably going to get relegated. Look at the state of their form. Yeah, cool. I don't disagree with you. They probably are going to get relegated. Very interesting to see at what point they flip it and decide to go a little bit more direct or change this style of play that they've got, where they're very, very, very possession reliant. Be very interesting to see at what point they change that up. But the point is, Manchester United are just going to put it on them in a really, really impressive showing. And, okay, there's possibly a couple of injuries that we might have to deal with. Martinez, again, is a worry, as always. But every game is another game closer to having Højlund, Euro, etc. back. Ugarte is now featured in a United shirt. We are starting to put together a bit of a squad. These are all positive signs. 3-0 on the road, early kick-off, place where you can drop points, a place where there's upsets to be had. I was thinking that United could go and get a win here and certainly capitalise on mistakes. Wasn't the sort of mistakes that I thought we would capitalise on, I'll be honest with that. I thought we would capitalise on them overplaying at the back and our press would be good and we'd go and get a goal from that. Wasn't really how we created chances today. We created chances by them falling asleep and not picking their men up. Interesting. But it was a good performance. I thought we would probably be dominated with the ball. They would have so much more possession than us. And if we win, it'll be a bit scrappy and people will still probably end up kicking off. But actually, I'm really, really happy that we're coming away from this. One, it's a good performance. Two, we actually dominated the ball. We've seen some players that are in much needed of confidence scoring. Garnacho's come on and scored as well, showing that I think, he can be that impact player. I got a lot of grief in the preview for putting Marcus in there. And people just don't listen. I think Marcus and Garnacho are neck and neck at the moment in terms of what they offer. But I think that Marcus is doing quite a lot of defensive work. And I think that right now there is a higher ceiling in Marcus. Like, we saw Garnacho last year and everyone thought he was great when he came away with 7 goals in the league, which is exactly the same Marcus came away with. Whereas we know if Marcus does an absolute madness, there's a 30 goals all comps sort of player in there. 40 some goal contributions, or I think it's the correct thing to do. Now, you're entitled to disagree with me on that one, but I think it's the correct thing to do to sort of give Marcus that little bit of a leeway. If he didn't or hasn't or doesn't turn them performances around and put more in like we saw today, then he'll absolutely find himself on the bench. But I think that Garnacho wasn't coming in and doing... He wasn't absolutely benching him. This isn't what we're seeing with Ahmad and Anthony, for example, where Anthony comes on and he stinks the place out. And Ahmad, you're like, he looks good. There isn't that comparison. It's a totally different situation, totally different scenario. So, I'm glad Ten Hag's decision was justified a little bit today. But it's flexible and it's not a permanent solution. It's not a permanent situation. This could all change after the next performance and the one performance after that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Cheers, everybody, for tuning in, as always. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Back in the morning with player ratings and 5 things. And I will catch you lot in the next one. But before I go, very happy with that performance. I think De Ligt has really shown what a signing he was, and there'll be a queue of people in absolute denial about the apologies that they owe him. He's looked good. And do you know what? I barely mentioned Mazraoui. I said we look good down the right-hand side, but what a signing he's been. Just so reliable in everything that we do. Hell of a signing that we've had there. So, nice one. Very happy with that. And even Eriksen's inclusion in the team was pretty justified. He sprayed the ball nice with some intelligent stuff. So, all good. Happy with that. See you in the morning.